Hi everyone, this is Wade in South Bend. Wanted to make a quick video for you here on what I did to get my kayak loaded up on my roof. This was probably the most researched, or the thing that I thought the most about before I bought my Jackson Big Tuna. What we're dealing with here is Toyota 4Runner. You know, it's got a very short roof rack because of the sunroof, and you know, because of the length of the boat, obviously that was a concern. The two biggest concerns though is you've got this weak fairing on the back here, so any load assist that you buy, from the research that I've done, if they pull out when you load the boat on them, they drop, and potentially you could end up breaking off this fairing, which obviously wouldn't be a good thing. So I had to come up with a system to eliminate that problem. And then the next problem is the satellite antenna. I call it the shark fin, that was placed right there in the center of the rear roof. And as you can probably see, the shark fin actually stands higher than the roof rack crossbars itself, so you don't want to be knocking that off when you're loading the kayak on and off. So what I come up with was a design to essentially start the kayak high and drop it low down onto the roof rack, so I can bypass all of this. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I came up with my own little design here, because nothing else seemed to work. So what this is just, it's made out of PVC, and this is a hitch pipe here with a T-bar, and then there's two vertical bars. Now these two vertical bars will unscrew so this thing can break down even more. But essentially what I do here is I just put this right in the rear hatch, then put the locking pin in, and I have my two vertical bars that are going to give me the height that I need there to get over those obstacles. So the second part is this piece here, and I've got two little foam pads that I stick up here to help protect the roof. But essentially there's just 2 feet that go onto the roof, and then there's 2 cross tees that just slip right on top of the vertical bars here. So now I've got me a situation where I can actually, if you can see this, I get the front of the kayak up here, and this rotates, which allows me to just push and roll it right up onto the roof rack, and I've got plenty of clearance, and it starts high and just drops down onto the roof rack itself, and in the process will avoid the fairing and the shark fin satellite antenna. The biggest problem I had when I first built this and first tried it out is there's a lot of play here, and I don't know if there was necessarily a better way to design it to avoid that. So essentially what I did was I just used 2 bungees. One's a little longer and one's a little shorter, but I take the long one first and go ahead and just put it on the roof rack there, or on the crossbar, and then bring it up and around, and it helps start to draw that rack closer to the crossbar there. Then I do the same thing with the shorter one, and this really tightens it up. So once you get these on, you still have a little bit of play, but it doesn't play as much as what it did without the bungee cord. So that was my simple fix that I came up. As you're bungeeing it, you need to make sure that your foam pads are underneath the feet, so you know, the roof stays protected. But that's what it looks like. I'm parked on a bit of an incline, but notice how it actually bows towards, or doesn't bow, but it bends towards the car there. So basically all I got to do is get the front of the kayak up here on the roller bar. Now I'm a pretty tall fella, I'm 6'4", and so this isn't that big of a deal for me. If you were shorter, let's say 5'8", I don't know how well it would work for you, but it works well for me. So I'll show you how I go ahead and do this. I just lift the front and balance it up there. You can go off to the side, it's not really going to go anywhere. And then come back to the rear, pick up the two handles, just push forward. And you can see, hopefully, that as I'm loading this onto the roof rack, it's well above that satellite antenna and that fairing. I like to push this forward enough to where the handles are about in the middle of my Malone paddles there. I could have it hanging off the back more, but I tow a RV behind the truck, so because of the RV and the way it's designed, I have to have this pushed pretty far up there. And then the front of it makes it right above the windshield, so works pretty good. Got the Malone brackets there that I just added right to the crossbars. Obviously you can't drive down the road like this. If you notice, it's not even on the back feet yet, so essentially all you got to do is undo the bungee cords, lift the kayak up some. Right now it's supported on the front feet. I've got it supported by my arm. So at this point in time I can pull the pin out, lift the kayak up. I stick my leg in like so that I can pull from the top and the rear and just remove that right off of there. So all together in one piece it looks like this. Of course I designed it to where it could be broken down, so if you're traveling, you don't really have room to do that. So to break it down, all you gotta do is just get those off the vertical bars. And I'm not gonna do it now, but you can unscrew these from the hitch bar that I made and break it down even further. One problem that I have encountered, I've used this all summer since I've got the kayak, but I'm starting to have issues with this piece right here cross-threading as I take it in and put it, or take it out and put it in. I don't know what's cross-threading or what threads are getting messed up, the threads on the actual pipe or the threads inside this elbow here. So I think this winter I'm going to redesign it a little bit, and instead of having this T permanently affixed to the, or this elbow permanently affixed to the hitch mount, I think I'm going to make this to where this can slide on and slide off, and that way I'm not having to screw and unscrew this all the time, and that way I won't be running into cross-threading problems. So that's just a way that I would change the design. So obviously you got to remove the bungee cords. And don't forget to pull your little foam pads off of here, because I've done that several times, and as soon as you start driving down the road, obviously you lose the foam pads. So it gets it up on there. It's nice and level. Then all you got to do is tie it down. But you notice with these Malone feet here, it keeps it nice and centered and raises it well enough high above the that satellite antenna shark fin. So hopefully this gives you some ideas you know, that was the biggest problem I had, is I can't pull a boat behind the 4Runner since I'm pulling that trailer, so I had to stick it on the roof rack. There wasn't any other option. I was awfully worried about how it would balance up there, considering that it's a 14-foot boat and the roof rack I think is only 4 feet long from crossbar to crossbar. But you know, I've taken this on 3-4 hour trips, highway speeds, interstate speed 65, 70, 75 miles an hour, and it sets up there fine. Only problem is you gotta tighten down your straps from every once in a while, especially if it's setting on the roof rack from overnight. So just wanted to show you what I did, because I know that with the 4Runners there's a lot of people concerned out there on how do you properly load something like this on the roof rack without damaging those pieces. Once you get to the lake, it's just basically the opposite. To get the boat off is, you know, you unstrap it, push it up like this, go ahead and push the rack into the hitch, and then set the boat back down on top of the rack, and then you just pull backwards and pull it right off of there. So it's real easy to do. One person, don't need any help, and it gets me where I need to go. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below. Thanks. In case you wanted to see it, here's the boat all tied up. I run this string here through the 2 rear handles, goes through a loop down to the hitch. That prevents it from, or helps prevent it sliding forward and backwards. And then for the front, I run this string through the handle, and I got these little things that these are just hood inserts that go on. There's a rubber piece about 1 inch diameter, a rubber tube that just fits underneath your hood there. So that way I don't have to worry about running it to the front and tying it down front and having the rope get scratches on the truck. So that holds it from, or those 2 ropes hold it from going forwards and sideways. And then these 2 ratchet straps obviously bring it down tight onto the rack. And if you can see there, you know, I'm putting a good amount of weight on it, and it doesn't move too much. So probably the biggest problem going down the road is that with these ratchet straps, you know, they can start to vibrate and create some noise at bigger speeds, but holds it on there really good. I don't have it tied down that great because I'm just going down the road, but you get the idea. So that's what she looks like, all tied up and mounted on the roof rack. Thanks.